They defaced the mural, the community. The people of East Harlem have stood up and said, not in our backyard, and we will continue to fight. I hope that was short enough.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Marina, and thank you so much, Estela. But it was important, muy importante hablar sobre esta actividad, este mural, this mural that is really very important to us in the community in terms of expressing our ability to express our support of who is our family, who is important to us. So we are grateful that you are here. We don't want to do a lot of talking, but we do want to just to present our Cuban delegation. I'm going to ask my dear sister, well, before I ask my sister Lema to come forward, I'm going to ask my dear brother, Ambassador Yuri Gala. Please give me give a warm welcome to our ambassador. I'm shocked. I'm like, I don't know why you didn't say all, but you're always so patient.
So important.
No, and you're so important for us. But please, if you would do the honor of introducing our delegation.
Thank you very much, and good evening to you all. Buenas noches. Buenas noches. Very good. Should I continue in Spanish? Well, let me start by thanking the organizers of this party, this welcoming party here in Harlem. And I want to highlight the fact that we're here in Harlem. Yes, our Cuban permanent mission is located in Manhattan, Midtown. So we are more than pleased to come to Uptown, New York, and specifically to Harlem, East Harlem here. Now, we are here welcoming the Cuban delegation who actually came to New York to attend an important event at the United Nations here in New York. We have representatives from a number of institutions in Cuba. They are here to attend the session of the Commission on the Status of the Women, and we are deeply honored to host them here in New York. Representative from the Cuban Federation of Women, from the National Union of Jurists in Cuba, from the ICA, who obviously you know, the Institute for the Friendship of the People, and some other institutions as well. So we have all of them represented here, and I would like you all to give them a big round of applause here. Now let me also mention that we are, as I said before, deeply honored to be here at the People's Church. We have seen some of the stories and actions that you have carried out in the community, but we are obviously very grateful for your solidarity towards Cuba and towards the Cuban people in these very complicated times that our country is going through due to the unjust policy of blockade imposed by the United States on Cuba. So we're deeply grateful for that solidarity, and our presence here, both from the Permanent Mission of Cuba and from the delegation coming from our country, is actually a manifestation of that gratitude that we feel for you, because of that solidarity that stands in support of Cuba. And let me also thank Gail Walker and the staff who made this possible, Dolimar, who I'm sure is aware of this, because this is important for us, to show this solidarity, but most importantly, to demonstrate that another world is possible, that Cuba is better off without the blockade, and that the world will be better off without that unjust blockade on Cuba. So thank you all for your solidarity.
way, we adopt our ambassador, our president. So we're grateful to have the ambassador with us this evening. Thank you for that. And what I would like to do without further ado is ask our dear sister, Noemi, to come forward. And Noemi is the Vice President of ECAP, the Cuban Institute for Friendship with the People. And it's beautiful to see Noemi here in New York. I know it's a little cold, pero... Oh, take.
Gracias. Bueno, yo quisiera tener palabras para describirles el sentimiento que estoy sintiendo desde que puse un pie en este lugar.
I would like to express with words, to find those words to express all those feelings that comes to my mind when I enter this place.
He estado sintiendo que me lleva de la mano nuestro comandante jefe Fidel.
I have felt Comandante Fidel Castro to pulling me by my hands.
Por eso agradezco a todos los que pensaron en esta actividad al comienzo de nuestro programa acá.
And that's why I thank all those who have the idea to organize this welcoming for us.
En tiempos tan difíciles, donde muchos se empeñan en sembrar de odio a la humanidad,
In these difficult times when so many people are trying to reproduce the hate in humankind,
seguir los pasos de un hombre que todo lo que hizo lo hizo por amor, por sentimiento.
and to follow the path of a man that all what he did was inspiring love.
Y compartir aquí con gente tan linda como ustedes.
And to
es un
share this
privilegio.
time with so beautiful people that are here.
Es mi primera vez en Estados Unidos y específicamente aquí en Nueva York.
This is my first time in the United States and in New York.
Yo lo llamo una casualidad de la vida, ¿no?
I said that it is something not expected or...
Porque bueno, nuestro presidente Fernando, todos conocen, obviamente no puede viajar acá.
As you all know, Fernando González cannot come to the States.
Les manda a todos un fuerte abrazo y
And he
agradecimiento
sent
por
a
todo lo
big
que
hug to all
hicieron.
of you and his many thanks for all the support you give him.
Por él y sus hermanos para que puedan regresar a la
To
patria.
him and the other comrades, the other 4 comrades that were able to return to our homeland.
Entonces estoy aquí formando parte de esta linda delegación
So
de
I'm
cubanas
part
y de un
of
cubano
this beautiful women delegation with one man.
que no solo vamos a poner en alto el nombre de la mujer cubana
So
en ONU,
we are not going to only put at the high level the position,
sino
the
que
name
vamos a
of the
tener
Cuban
el
women,
placer, el
but
privilegio de
also
compartir
the
con la
privilege
solidaridad en la
to share some
conferencia
time with the solidarity movement
por
in the
la total
conference for
normalización de las
the total
relaciones entre Estados Unidos y
normalization
Cuba.
of the relations between the United States and Cuba.
Pero bueno, sobre este lugar, y es impresionante todo lo que hacen en este proyecto del barrio.
About this specific place is so impressive, all the things that you are doing in this church, in the town, in
Por las
the
causas
barrio,
justas del mundo,
for the just causes of the world,
específicamente por Cuba y por Puerto Rico.
and specifically for Cuba and for Puerto Rico.
Nosotros, desde el CAP, aun cuando trabajamos muchas causas, las que siempre han acompañado a la Revolución Cubana,
At ICA, we have always followed all those just causes that the Cuban Revolution has supported.
la causa de Puerto Rico siempre la hemos defendido como nuestra.
And the just cause of Puerto Rico, we have defended it as our own.
Creo que los cubanos tenemos la responsabilidad de cumplir por amor y por convicción un mandato de José Martí.
We Cubans have, by heart and by commitment, we should fulfill the principle of our José Martí,
Que siempre pensó, y como gran profeta, de que debían ser libres las dos islas, porque iban a ser faro para todas las luchas justas del mundo.
And José Martí mentioned that both islands needed must be free, because both of them will be the light for the mankind or the world.
Y yo pienso que Puerto Rico, como decía la hermana, es libre de corazón.
And as our sister mentioned, Puerto Rico is free from the heart.
Han tenido el mérito de defender hasta con las uñas y dientes, como decimos los cubanos, la cultura, las tradiciones.
They have defended with all means, with their hands, with their nails, with all their bodies, their culture.
Y la mayoría está en pie de lucha por ser algún día libre, independiente, soberano.
Most of them stand in their ideas of being independent.
Me llamó mucho la atención cuando la hermana hablaba, porque generalmente cuando se habla de los versos de Lola Rodríguez de Dios, se dice solo Cuba y Puerto Rico son de un pájaro las dos alas.
Our sister here was completing the phrase, but in most of the occasions, we only repeat the first part of the phrase, that both islands are wings of the same bird.
Y es importante terminar el verso,
And
recibe
it is so
flores y balas en el mismo
important to
corazón.
complete the phrase, because both islands receive bullets and flowers that goes to the same heart.
Por eso les quiero ratificar que seguiremos luchando por la independencia de Puerto Rico.
And I want to reiterate that we are going to defend and we are going to support the independence of Puerto Rico.
Y seguiremos luchando. Y seguiremos luchando por mantener nuestra soberanía,
And we will
nuestra
also
independencia,
defend our
nuestra
sovereignty,
libertad,
our independence, our freedom.
nuestro socialismo,
And we will also defend our socialism.
que todos los días apuesta por ser mejor, por ser más inclusivo, por ser más justo.
And every day we struggle to be better, to be just, to be
Y que porque podamos lograr todos los sueños que nos hemos planteado en estos más de 60 años de revolución.
and to be able to achieve all those dreams that we have been following these more than 60 years of the revolution.
No me quiero extender, solo darle las gracias a todos.
I don't want to be very
Por todo
long,
el
but
tiempo que le
I
dedican
want
a
to
Cuba.
thank you for all that time that you devoted, you dedicate to Cuba.
Hoy más que nunca necesitamos de ese acompañamiento.
Today, more than ever, we need that accompaniment.
Y les ratificamos que seguiremos en resistencia, pero también en lucha.
And we ratify that we will be resisting, but also struggling. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear sister Naomi. You know, you all make us feel so warm and welcomed and just warm and fuzzy all over. So, gracias, muchísimas gracias por sus palabras y su inspiración, porque es muy importante para nosotros aquí entender y compartir con nuestra familia. So it's important. That's the expensive my Spanish, right? Gracias. Thank you. So I want to ask another dear friend of in the fight for justice, and also associated with the very special campaign called the Poor People's Campaign. Some of you may have heard about the work that has been going on, in many ways under the auspices of Reverend William Barber, who has been just a real strong force in the struggle for justice. And I'm going to ask our dear sister Arelis to come forward and just share a little bit about what's happening with the Poor People's Campaign.
Somebody said my people, and it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. I tell you, it's gone on far too long. no nos callaremos más, and we won't be silent anymore. Poor People's Campaign, a national call for a moral revival. Pero antes de seguir, quiero decir que yo soy dominicana. Aquí se completó la cosa. Y la República Dominicana, el pueblo dominicano, y ustedes lo saben, siempre ha estado y estará con Cuba, siempre ha estado y estará con Puerto Rico. Sí. Right? Bueno, pues mi nombre es Arely Figueroa, soy de la campaña de la gente pobre, un llamado nacional a la renovación de la moral. Y esta es la campaña que comenzó, que estaba haciendo el reverendo Martin Luther King cuando le mataron en el 1968. Y al acercarse los 50 años, se empezaron a decir, ¿qué vamos a hacer? No queremos solamente una celebración, hay que terminar el trabajo que comenzó. Y resaltando el trabajo de las mujeres, la reverenda doctora Licio Harris, el reverendo doctor William Barber, unieron sus plataformas, sus organizaciones y lanzaron la campaña de la gente pobre. Martin Luther King identificó en su tiempo 3 males en esta sociedad: el racismo, el militarismo y la pobreza. Y están aquí, ¿verdad? Están aquí todavía. So, Dr. Martin Luther King identified poverty, racism, and militarism as evil of this society, and they're here still. So the campaign to these 3 evils add the ecological devastation and the false moral narrative of the religious right. Y la campaña de la gente pobre ahora en el lanzamiento unió la devastación ecológica y la narrativa distorsionada del nacionalismo religioso blanco, que sabemos todo lo que eso significa. Así que sé que es muchas cosas, pero solamente estoy aquí para decirle que estamos con ustedes, que también alguien está yendo a Cuba ya por demasiado tiempo ya, y no nos vamos a quedar callados. Estamos con Cuba, Cuba sí, bloqueo no, Cuba sí, Cuba sí, so forward together, no one step back, forward together, adelante juntos, ni un paso atrás. Dios le bendiga y los esperamos en la iglesia del pueblo. Tenemos una iglesia que es la iglesia del movimiento, en español la iglesia del pueblo, domingo a las 7:30, así que vamos a ver si podemos tenerlo. Es online, no se preocupen. Donde quiera que esté se pueden conectar. Gracias.
All right, I want to ask, just before we're going to be bringing things to a close, but before we do, I want to point out the tables in the back. Those of you who haven't seen, there is a PSL over, wave their hands, right? Pass your piece. Please, there you go. Check out the tables. Make sure that you pick up literature on the tables. We are going to hear from Erin very briefly about the conference that's taking place this weekend. So she can tell you a little bit more about some of the things that are coming back and that should be shared. But come forward, Erin, please. And we'll bring, start there.
Thank you, Sister Gail. You're welcome. After that. Hello, everybody. I will be brief because I know there are other things to do than listen to me. First, I want to thank Gail and Reverend Dolamar for opening this space to us. I love this church. I love the history of the church, and we're very grateful to be in Spanish Harlem, El Barrio. I actually grew up not too far from here. ended up on the Lower East Side, no offense, you know, but it was still a great neighborhood. We had our own, it was a good time. I want to tell you, we're having a really fantastic conference, which we do every time the FMC comes in for their stint at the UN. We do a conference because we are so happy to have them, for them to share firsthand about Cuba with us. So this weekend, starting on Saturday and Sunday at Fordham University, over on 60 West 113 West 60th Street, we're going to have 2 days of panels, workshops. We're going to have an art show, which will start at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning, which has Cuban art in it. We will have a series of movies from 10 o'clock until 12 in the afternoon of Belly of the Beast, as well as one of the producers and one of the people who makes these films to talk about it, how to use these films as an advocate tool for getting an end to the blockade. And then we will have a series of panels. We have intergenerational panels. We have youth, we have women, we have the unions, we have travel, we have resolutions, we have every way that we can fight together in order to end the blockade and to get Cuba off this SSOT, which is the State Sponsors of Terrorism list. That's what we have to do. And this weekend, we'll be there Saturday, all day Saturday. The plenary starts at 12 o'clock. We have a breakfast. If you want to come to the art gallery, we'll have an art gallery. We'll have these films, and then we'll have a plenary, then workshops all afternoon. Then Saturday night, a very special event. We're going to be having a rally at the Malcolm X Center up in Harlem, which will be fantastic. Again, the FMC will be there. All of our friends from Cuba. We will have Bombo Yo playing, as well as Spirit Child will be the DJ. And we'll also have the RGB girls. So we're going to have some cool performance and a good time for sure. So I hope you'll all be there. Again, start Saturday morning, 9:30. We'll start registration. Films, art gallery, 12 o'clock plenary. All afternoon there will be a series of workshops. I hope you'll all attend. If you want, we have these cards in the back. I cast some. You can just take your phone. We got very fancy. We have a QR code here. It gives you the whole program. So Gail will be there. All of our friends will be there, and I hope you'll be there too. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. Erin did that very succinctly. There's a lot of information, but we're looking forward to this weekend's conference. You know, Erin was talking about the state sponsors of terrorism list, and our dear friend Angie Langdon in the back has been really great at creating these little zines, these little informational pamphlets, if you will, about the blockade. Some were folded a little better than others, but this is the newer. So I want to make sure that those all get, that you pick some of those up in the back as well. Thank you all. Just thanks for being here. Gracias a la familia Cuba for being here. I want to just, before I ask the senior pastor of the church, Dolomar Lebron, to come forward and say a few words, I want to just say, this church, esta iglesia es muy importante para nosotros, porque en esta comunidad es una resource. Recurso. I can't believe it. I'm trying to figure out the Spanish. Recurso. Muy importante. Esta iglesia es un lugar para gente que quiere aprender más sobre salud. La gente que quiere aprender to defend themselves, self-defense. Yo no sé.
Autodefensa.
Sí. ¿Qué más?
Acupuntura.
Acupunture.
Bienvenida a los nuevos inmigrantes.
Sí.
Welcome new immigrants.
Thank you. Welcoming new immigrants. Sí. Programas. Y esta semana, this week, there will be how many films? Dos películas.
Tomorrow,
Mañana.
Black in Cuba, Cuba and African Odyssey, and Afro-Cuba Conga and Baseball. So we're showing 3 films tomorrow, starting at 5, right here.
Okay, so examples of some of the kinds of community programming that the First Spanish United Methodist Church has been involved in. But this church is also referred to as the People's Church.
Yeah.
And so we want you to feel at home. We want you to look at this as a resource for sharing information about the important work that we're doing, not only here in El Barrio, not only here in the U.S., but internationally. This is a place that is welcoming and receiving of the various programs that we are engaged in. And I want you to consider, as you are mingling, as we bring our program to a close, consider making a donation to this church.
Yes.
What you're making a donation to is to the programming that is really central to supporting El Barrio, to supporting the struggles for liberation, whether it's here in this community or it's in Cuba. This is a very important resource for all of us. And at the door over there by my dear friend Ian, Devin, he's got his hat. He is there to very happily receive any donations that you might want to place in that receptacle there. But this is a way for us to continue to do this important work. So think about coming to donate your time. We need volunteers. We need no donation is too small. $1, or as I like to say, if you've got that $100 bill that's sitting in your pocket, that is just creating a burden, it's a weight in your pocket, and you need some relief, we are here to provide that relief. Feel free to release your burden and give us your money. But so on the serious side, it's a very important resource here in the community, and we're grateful to not only have had tonight's program, but all that FSUMC has done. And on that note, I want to ask our senior pastor, Reverend Dolomar Lebron, to please come forward. I just have to say that she may be short. She might be a little short, but she's got a lot of power.
Thank you all for coming tonight. Yes, come on, let me hear some energy. On a Tuesday night, you know, this was something that was put together within the last week, and le queremos dar la bienvenida una vez más oficialmente a la iglesia que están aquí, están en familia. Many people who know me know that part of my education was spent studying in Cuba for about a year, and so I have been, we take very seriously not only our solidarity and bringing material aids to Cuba, but also doing our part as citizens of the U.S., doing our part to stand up against this immoral blockade. And so here in our little part of the world, we are going to continue to stand for hope, stand for truth, stand for justice, and we're so glad to have you all be with us. So again, on behalf of the team that kind of has been holding things down here on an everyday basis at the church, so I want to shout out all the members of the church, Carly, Dee, Devin, who are here day in and day out, Chef, doing our programs. This is our community, and one of the things that we do is we give not, this is what I learned from Cuba, you give not from what you have left over, but from what you have. Right. And so from what we have, we will always, as long as we're here, we're always going to make this space available to this community, to our family from Cuba, but in general. And so as we close this space, I don't know if you've ever been to Cuba. Come and put your hands up if you've ever been to Cuba. Okay, that's a good amount, but there's still some of us who haven't been to Cuba yet, or maybe haven't been to Cuba in a long time. Maybe you feel like your time has passed and you don't really think you can do a trip to Cuba, but maybe you want to help somebody else who's never been to Cuba. We have several trips coming up, but for sure, we have a trip coming up in the week of May 1st. We have a caravan that is getting ready to go to Santiago de Cuba the last 2 weeks of July. And so if you have not had the opportunity to travel, either, please see our Passes for Peace table and the NNOC table. There are at least 2 trips that are coming up. You have an opportunity to go and look at and check out Cuba for yourself. But if for whatever reason you can't make it, maybe you want to donate so somebody else has the opportunity to go and see Cuba for themselves. Because that is going to be a transformative experience. You're going to see things that you can't unsee. You're going to be able to dream in ways that you probably never thought you could dream before. And so I want to encourage you, if you haven't been to Cuba, to please make your way to go participate. Reach out to me, to Gail, to anybody if you have information. We'll make sure to figure out how you can get there. But before we bring up, I guess, our drummers again, I just want to invite folks to stand. We've been sitting around for a little bit, so I want to invite everybody to stand as we are able. And I want to invite folks to repeat after me. Love. Love. Power. Power. Transformation. Transformation. Miracles. Miracles. We want it. We want it. We need it. We need it. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Love. Love. Power. Power. Transformation. Transformation. Miracles. Miracles. We need them. We need them. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Who will sing? Who will sing?
You can do it. Anyway, I think it's time for us to push the chairs aside. Make sure that anybody who hasn't gotten a little something to eat,
Use the mic.
do a little moving. They like to tease me because of my dancing. But anyway, thank you. Thank you to our friends. Gracias a nuestra familia. We're looking forward. This is going to be a very exciting week. So gracias for everything you do and for being the tremendous example that you are for all of us.
Thank you.
Let's go.